when Rangers kind of broke that tradition, if you like, of not signing Catholics, they had to do it with a massive name. They had to do it with somebody huge. And it was only going to be either Maurice Johnston, Frank McAvennie, or maybe Charlie Nicholas. Was that?
Well, that's what Graham said to me.
What about Charlie?
No, he said it had to be.
Oh, it had to be a massive name.
The three of us were high-profile Roman Catholics.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it had to be to break
It had to be a big one.
Had to be a big one.
No use having a dozen, right? I mean, that was done nothing.
There's a couple of Catholics in the team, I think.
At the time?
I think so. But
No. But I'll tell you who the guys that he was.
But they didn't know them. They didn't know they were Catholics. So that's what I mean.
Kept it quiet.
Nobody knew.
See, you know who they were supposed to be got to sign was John Sheridan. Do you remember John Sheridan?
John Sheridan,
Leeds?
Aye.
And that never happened.
No.
Yeah, but that was one of the names put out there.
He was Sheffield Wednesday, was he?
I wouldn't have created a ripple. That would not have created.
No.
I wouldn't have created.
And who was the wee boy for?
Wanted.
Who was the wee boy for Castle Malt?
John Spencer.
No. He played with.
Ray Houghton.
Ray Houghton. And Ray Houghton agreed
Yeah.
that he was going to sign for Rangers. And then he phoned up Graham and said, "Look, I can't do it." He says, "Somebody sent me a bullet through the post." So it sort of changed his mind, as you can imagine.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't think Ray Houghton's ever really spoken very much about his time in Scotland, because every day I think there's an assumption because he played for the Republic of Ireland, despite being a Castlemilk boy, that he would have been a Celtic fan, you know.
I think he is a Celtic fan.
But he would.
I think he is or was or whatever. But he had his eye on a few. But the two prime guys that he wanted was Frank and Maurice.
Mm-hmm. And did you know in your heart of hearts that Frank would never have signed for Rangers?
I'm not altogether sure about that, to be honest. We've had discussions about this, right? And it would be very, very difficult, in my opinion, for Frank to sign for Rangers. But when I see how Maurice did it and how he arrived and was able to handle it, what I would say to you is this: he could have handled it, without a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind at all that the fans would have taken to him. Whether or not Frank would have been happy there, I really don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was the fact that Frank hadn't played for Celtic, whereas Mo Johnston obviously had, would that have made a difference, do you think, as well?
No, really. No, really. I mean, Maurice signing for Rangers was an outrage in so many ways, but it worked out at the end of the day. It worked out quite well. Did you tell Simon that on the day that we signed for Rangers that we phoned you for the taxi on the way to Barry? We're on the way to Italy, and Maurice says, "Got to phone Frank." Frank answered the phone and he says, "Who's that?" He went, "You're talking to a Rangers player here." Do you remember?
That's right, I remember that.
Who am I talking to? It was Maurice, winding him up.
And where were you at this point?
I can't remember what it was. I was at West Ham when I was
Aye,
talking.
Aye, so
West
you're
Ham,
down to London kind of thing, and
aye.
this was in the taxi to Ibrox.
We're going to a private jet to
Got to
Italy.
Barry to join the Rangers team.
Oh, right, of
And
course.
he-
So they
he-
were on a pre-season kind of tour.
Aye,
thing.
and we just left Ibrox.
Yep.
And he said to me, I want to phone somebody. I said, "Aye, on you go." He says, "Listen in."
Yeah.
I said, "Who's it?" It's Maca.
I told him where to go.
First person he phoned.
What did you say to him?
I think I told him where to go.
Here's a question for you, Bill. So when Maurice Johnston's posing with Billy McNeill in that famous red and black
Yes,
jumper
yes,
they wore
yes,
that day,
yes.
and he was going to come back to Celtic in 1989, did he know at that point that he was going to go to Rangers instead?
No,
No.
not at all. Most definitely, no.
So he was genuinely happy to return to Celtic at that point, and he was going to, because nothing had obviously been signed, clearly.
I think so, but we had so many offers at the time.
Yeah.
He could have gone to Spurs, he could have gone to Stuttgart, and I'm quoted as saying, "I didn't want him to go to Rangers." I'm telling you that now. I said that at the time, I'm telling you now. I thought that Maurice should have stayed on the continent for another 5 years, because he was a sensation in France. You know that, Frank, right? He was a sensation here, and he had so many choices. And then we got the offer to come back to Spurs. He wasn't too keen, and then the offer from Billy, and that was a mix-up from start to finish. The reason being that he came over for the weekend, him and his missus, and I just left him. He says to me, I'm going to Parkhead. They're having a wee do, and ex-players and all this sort of thing. That's how it was sold to him.
Yeah.
He went to Parkhead on the night and then phoned me up in a panic and said, look, they want me to sign. And I said, you can't sign. You're not in a position to sign, you know that. And he said, well, I've told them, but they're not listening to me. That was it in a nutshell, right? And that was the truth of the matter. Now, the situation was, God rest them, they said at the time, they had all the press outside all waiting, right? And they said to him at the time when he came in, Jack McGinn came in, and he said, is the deal done? And they said, no, it's not done. And he said, why is it not done? He says, there would appear to be a hiccup. He says, well, just tell them it's been done. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. And we'll pick up the pieces later on. That's an absolute fact.
So you're kind of obviously watching these news clips of him standing there in the pitch, and you must be thinking, what are you doing?
I knew he wasn't in a position to sign because he didn't own his contract.
Yeah.
So he could have signed 100 contracts, Frank, but
it wouldn't have been legal.
it wasn't legal.
Quite a bit of time elapsed though before he signed for Rangers. Was it not a couple
3
of months?
months.
Aye.
3 months.
Aye, but he went to, because McAvennie was saying he went to the cup final on the bus.
He certainly he went to Celtic St Mirren game in Paisley
Yes.
on the
He went
team
to cup
bus.
final.
And Rangers played Aberdeen that day. They unfurled the flag at Ibrox. Right, I thought I'd get that in, right? They unfurled
It's
the
been a long
flag.
time, I can't remember, you still remember them doing that.
Got memory if nothing else, Frank. But I remember after it, he phoned me up. He was staying at his mum's, and he phoned me up after the St Mirren game. And he went, going to struggle a wee bit, Bill. I says, you think so? He went, there's no firing on all cylinders. It's not about the team, right? I said, really? I said, aye. He says, now, at that time, if you said to me, put money on him signing for a team, I would have said either Stuttgart or Spurs, right? Absolutely convinced that that's what he was going to do. And then, as you know, things changed.
So what was the first idea you had that Rangers were going to sign? I wanted to sign him in that period. Did you get a phone call, or did he get a phone call, or who made contact with who?
We made contact in a couple of different ways, right, on different things.
Yeah.
And then right out the blue said to me, would Morris come to Rangers? I went, don't be fucking stupid, right? And he said, I'm being serious. And I said, I doubt it very much. I said, but are you being serious? And he said, yes, I am.
And this is as soon as you're talking about.
Aye. And but I knew he was also very keen on Frank. Right? I knew that, and I knew he had tried to sign different players and all the rest of it. And I thought, is this a PR job? You know, he's trying to get some as if he needs publicity. But you know, he could drum up publicity too, Frank, as you know, right? And I said, would he come here? I said, I don't know. I'll ask a question, right? Which I did. And I was taken aback because he said to me, they're going to do very well under Souness. That's what he said to me. He says, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with at that time, right? He said, I'm being honest, I don't think Celtic will compete with them next year. That was his words to me. And I think that had a bearing on what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, and Souness said to me at the time, he said, if Morris was to sign for us, it would take Celtic 10 years to get over the fact that he signed for us. Suppose he never kicked a ball for us. It would have such an impact on them as a club. There's a lot of truth in that. I never realised at the time.
That's why I was still talking about it after all these years.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
But what about the first kind of meeting? 'Cause presumably that day, that famous press conference when you know, and
Oh, you've got to tell
he was hidden. I mean, Mo Johnston was hidden away. Nobody, you know, it was one of the best kept secrets ever.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
You've got to tell the story about in the toilet.
In the cubicle.
It's a
brilliant story.
Brilliant. This is before he get introduced, wasn't it?
Aye. We had a wee guy, a kit man, called, what was it,
Doddy.
Doddy Suter, right?
Suter,
They said to me at Ibrox, before the press conference, Graham says to me, I don't want anyone to see him before the event, right? Mm-hmm. So he says, Gaffer, can I get a wash before the press conference? So he says to me, take him into the director's toilet there and don't let anybody fucking see him, right? So him and I go into the director's toilet, stand having a wash, and here's footsteps coming up the marble staircase. Mm-hmm. It turns out it's wee Doddy Suter, who's 76-year-old, and his pal. So we're in the cubicle, with the cubicle snibbed, right? Mm. And the guy says to me, Doddy, who are we going to sign today? Doddy says, I don't give a fuck who we sign, as long as it's not that wee Fenian bastard Maurice Johnston. And Maurice and I was trying not to fucking laugh. Right? Unbelievable. We're in the fucking cubicle to know what to do ourselves. So I says to him, welcome to Ibrox, me man.